The only way to achieve the impossible is to believe it is possible. Charles Kingsleigh. In the grand odyssey of human existence, true boundaries are not forged from brick and mortar, nor from iron and steel, but are sculpted deep within the labyrinth of our own consciousness. The profound paradox is that most of these towering walls do not exist in the tangible world. They merely linger in the shadows of the mind. By whispering the words, "I cannot," we unwittingly bolt the doors of opportunity long before we ever reach the threshold. Yet, the moment we dare to embrace the unimaginable, we seize the primordial key to unlock entirely new horizons. Belief is no overnight sorcery that alters the cosmos in the blink of an eye, but rather a radiant ember that warms the will, guiding our steps even when enveloped by the most profound darkness. That which we hold true weaves the very fabric of our thoughts, orchestrates our actions, and ultimately dictates the fruits of our labor. A fragile seed can never metamorphose into a towering ancient tree unless it shatters its husk to rise from the lightless earth. An eagle can never graze the celestial heavens if it forever cowers at the thought of spreading its wings against the howling gales. Humanity is no different. Countless souls falter at the precipice of defeat, not due to a dearth of talent, but because they prematurely surrender long before their true potential can awaken. The word impossible is, in essence, merely a transient frontier of human perception. The annals of history have proven this time and time again. There were eras when humanity believed it could never soar through the skies, never set foot upon the moon, nor conquer plagues once deemed absolute death sentences. Yet, every monumental stride of civilization was birthed by an individual who dared to believe in what the masses dismissed as pure delusion. They did not stare at the barricades only to retreat. They gazed upon possibilities and took action. It was faith that ignited their tenacity that propelled their deeds, and those relentless endeavors eventually turned the impossible into the ordinary. Genuine belief is devoid of blind, passive reverie. Trusting in the possible does not equate to sitting idly, awaiting the descent of a miracle. It is the audacity to confront adversity, the readiness to extract wisdom from every stumble, and the unwavering resolve to march forward, even when the destination remains shrouded in mist. Every hardship looms like a colossal peak before our eyes. The pessimist sees only a sheer, impassable cliff face, while the believer will either discover a path or carve one out themselves. When the mind is no longer shackled by the concept of impossible, humanity unlocks latent reservoirs of inner strength they never fathomed possessing. If today you stand before a dream that feels too immense, a challenge that seems too formidable, or a future still clouded in uncertainty, I implore you, do not hastily conclude that it lies beyond your grasp. Every magnificent triumph was once a sheer impossibility in the eyes of another. The primal summit you must conquer is not the towering mountain out there, but the crippling doubt festering within your own heart. Because the very moment you genuinely believe in your own power, you have already set foot on the path to manifesting the impossible. And sometimes, the most profound miracle in life is not a world transformed, but the realization that you have summoned the courage to redefine your own limits. The biggest adventure you can take is to live the life of your dreams. Oprah Winfrey. We often define adventure as sweeping odysseys to foreign lands, conquering majestic summits, or navigating vast, untamed oceans. Yet, in truth, the greatest of all adventures unfolds entirely within the human soul. It is the expedition of daring to live authentically to one's desires amidst an ocean of fears, societal prejudices, and the haunting echoes of self-doubt. Not everyone possesses the valor to tread this path, for it offers no guiding map, no absolute guarantees, and certainly promises no effortless conclusion. Yet, it is precisely this chilling uncertainty that crafts the singular beauty of a life truly lived. So many accept the chains of a loveless vocation, a life that fundamentally does not belong to them, endlessly looping through monotonous days. Merely out of a terror of change, they barter their dreams for a fleeting sense of security, only to glance backward one day and profoundly realize that their deepest regret is not the failures they endured, but the radiant opportunities they never dared to seize. The most petrifying fear should not be of failure, but of living an entire lifetime without ever attempting to become the person you yearned to be. A dream is akin to a solitary lighthouse amidst a nocturnal sea. It neither calms the raging waves nor banishes the tempestuous skies, but it allows the weary voyager to navigate their true north with a lucid objective. Every tribulation morphs into a profound lesson, every defeat becomes a stepping stone, and every stumble harbors the seed of growth. Conversely, devoid of a guiding dream, we are easily swept away in the undercurrents of others, living to placate societal expectations rather than heeding the deep-seated whispers of our own hearts. A fascinating truth is that no one commences their journey with flawless strength. Much like a fledgling cannot wait until its wings are perfectly plumed to take flight, we cannot afford to wait until every condition is favorable to chase our dreams. Confidence does not predate action. It is forged entirely within the crucible of doing. Every microscopic step taken today aggregates into the formidable resilience of tomorrow. Each time we breach the confines of our own limitations, we awaken to the astonishing reality that we are infinitely mightier than we ever conceived. Living for a dream does not guarantee a frictionless existence. On the contrary, it may very well be the most rugged and demanding path one could choose. There will be moments of suffocating self-doubt, days when all efforts seem utterly futile, and junctures where the urge to surrender consumes you entirely. But these very ordeals are the fiery kilns that temper the will. Diamonds are crystallized exclusively under monumental pressure, and humanity only unearths its ultimate worth when daring to step beyond the sanctuary of comfort into the chilling expanse of the unknown. The metric of a life's worth is not tallied in the years of our survival, but in the profound authenticity with which we have pursued our deepest aspirations. A tranquil existence, hollowed out by silent regrets, can never rival a tempestuous life overflowing with radiant purpose. Let your dream serve as your unwavering compass. Let courage manifest as your wings, and let every passing day propel you one step closer to the most magnificent iteration of yourself. Shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll land among the stars. Les Brown. In the grand theater of life, what restrains a person is rarely their capability, but rather the sheer magnitude of the goals they dare to pursue. So many opt for dreams just safe enough to evade failure, yet it is precisely this caution that chains their lives within endlessly familiar boundaries. When the aspiration is colossal, one unlocks dormant faculties they never realized existed. Success dwells not solely at the finish line, but in the metamorphosis you undergo along the arduous ascent. Envision a monumental objective, and the mind will autonomously scout for opportunities, ingenious solutions, and the resources to pull you magnetically toward it. Conversely, a minuscule goal elicits only marginal efforts, just enough to sustain the mundane status quo. Much like an arrow, its flight is dictated by the agonizing tension drawn before the release. The grander the dream, the more the will is forged, and the more brilliance is awakened. Even if you do not graze the moon, your trajectory will carry you light years further than if you had merely aimed for a modest foothill ahead. The natural world stands as a fierce testament to this universal law. An eagle does not master the skies by lingering within the comfort of its nest, but by plummeting headlong into the vast, unforgiving abyss. A rushing river never evolves into a mighty ocean if it settles for stagnant puddles along the way. An ancient oak can never scrape the heavens if its roots lack the audacity to pierce deep into the dark earth. We are no different. Colossal ambitions mirror the boundless sky, compelling us to dilate our intellect, hone our fortitude, and shatter parameters once deemed insurmountable. It is within this crucible that we mature with each passing dawn, often blind to our own spectacular evolution. The tragic reality is that countless individuals abandon their visions not out of incompetence, but out of a paralyzing dread of failure. They perceive defeat as a terminal period, when, in truth, it is merely a comma in the epic manuscript of their growth. Should you aim for the moon and find yourself adrift among the stars, you have still arrived at a celestial realm where painfully a few dare to tread. Failing magnificently at a colossal endeavor yields far more treasure than succeeding at something trivial. With every valiant attempt, you amass wisdom, grit, relentless endurance, and an ever-expanding vision. These are priceless fortunes that no earthly force can confiscate. The chasm between the architects of history and the mere spectators of its unfolding is not an absence of failure, but rather the sheer audacity to set goals that transcend the boundaries of their epoch. They embraced skepticism, swallowed mockery, and weathered brutal falls, yet never once shrank their visions in exchange for the narcotic illusion of safety. It was their towering aspirations that hoisted them far above petty trepidations. And even if they did not claim every prize they yearned for, they left indelible imprints that infused existence with a profound resonance. Do not strangle your future solely due to the strangling grip of present hardships. Let ambition be the fierce gale beneath your wings, and let courage serve as the surging engine that drives you through every tempest. Perhaps you will not grasp the moon in the exact manner you once envisioned, but upon that stellar voyage, you shall discover uncharted horizons, novel serendipities, and an exponentially more formidable version of yourself. Occasionally, the most magnificent triumph lies not in realizing the original objective, but in the awe-inspiring revelation that you have soared light years beyond your point of departure. You gain strength, courage, and confidence from every experience you face. Eleanor Roosevelt. No mortal is birthed inherently invulnerable, inherently brave, or brimming with self-assurance. These regal traits are not innate, prepackaged gifts, but the glorious spoils earned through countless skirmishes with adversity, conquering terror, and marching onward after devastating falls. The very tribulations we so desperately seek to evade are the profound incubators that nurture the mightiest versions of ourselves. Every encounter acts as a silent, unyielding master, etching profound wisdom into our souls that no parchment or tome could ever fully articulate. We cower before failure, shrink from rejection, dread missteps, and even tremble at the specter of change. Yet, the bitter paradox remains. The faster we flee from trials, the more monstrous our fears become. In stark contrast, each time you boldly confront the source of your anxiety, your psyche meticulously records that you possess the raw power to vanquish it. It is exactly this relentless alchemy that forges authentic confidence. True self-assurance does not stem from an unblemished record of perfection, but from the unshakable knowing that should you fall, you harbor the grit to rise and thunder forward once more. Observe the untamed world to witness this law in its purest form. A sword claims its lethal edge only after being mercilessly scorched and hammered upon the anvil. A gem radiates its inner fire only through the grueling patience of friction. A bamboo sapling must wrestle with violent typhoons to drive its roots deep and ascend with indomitable grace. We are no exception to this grand design. Every trial is a raging tempest. Should we merely fixate on the ferocity of the wind, terror will surely paralyze us. But if we anchor our gaze upon our own capacity to endure the storm, we realize that surviving the tempest exponentially magnifies our inner fortitude. The divergence between the triumphant and the easily defeated is not a scarcity of hardship. In truth, the victors have frequently waded through far more brutal crucibles than most. The solitary distinction lies entirely in the lens through which they perceive their tribulations. The cynic interprets defeat as an undeniable indictment of their own frailty. The visionary, however, harvests it as golden data, essential intelligence to calibrate, adapt, and evolve. Every miscalculation is a sturdy brick laid upon the bridge to ultimate victory. No encounter is ever rendered meaningless so long as we have the wisdom to extract its hidden lesson. Mental resilience mirrors the physiology of muscle. Left dormant, it slowly atrophies into weakness. Yet, with every agonizing strain and shattered threshold, it reconstructs itself into something unbreakable. Life does not manufacture adversity to obliterate the human spirit, but to violently awaken the dormant leviathans slumbering within. There are spectacular capabilities that only ignite when we are cornered by despair. There are noble virtues entirely sculpted within the abyssal days we swore we could not survive. Therefore, do not be so swift to curse the trials besieging your gates, for this may be the very alchemy life is silently orchestrating to forge you into a titan of maturity and strength, standing upon the precipice of a new paradigm, be it triumph or ruin, euphoria or agony. Embrace it as an inescapable, vital thread in the grand tapestry of your evolution. Never let terror chain your feet to the earth, for the terrain lying just beyond the borders of fear is courage itself. Just beyond the sting of a fall lies a jewel of wisdom, and emerging from the ashes of every conquered trial is a being radiating unshakable confidence. The cosmos never promised us a tranquil sea, but it consistently bestows an immaculate gift upon those who dare to brave the storm. The ferocity to press onward, the sheer valor to never surrender, and the supreme conviction that they can shatter absolutely anything lurking on the horizon. Self-confidence is the first requisite to great undertakings. Samuel Johnson. Woven into every monumental human achievement is a singular, often invisible genesis, a profound belief in oneself. Long before erecting a towering edifice, the architect must first believe the stones will hold. Long before reshaping the globe, the visionary must harbor the fiery conviction that they alone can tilt the axis. Every seismic action detonates from a belief potent enough to incinerate doubt and terror. Genuine confidence is the raw courage to step blindly into the void without knowing what nightmares or marvels lie ahead. It is an eerie calm amidst chaos, a reckless bravery to embrace crippling risks, and the unyielding certainty that regardless of the aftermath, you will absorb, mutate, and relentlessly advance. Those starving for confidence squander their days, agonizing over the catastrophic what-ifs of ruin. In contrast, the empowered mind laser focuses entirely on the arsenal they command in this very breathing moment. It is this exact schism in cognition that carves a colossal chasm between the idle dreamer and the fierce architect of reality. If you continuously chant a mantra of your own inadequacy, your mind will scour the earth for evidence to solidify that delusion, paralyzing you before every golden gate of opportunity. But the instant you profess faith in your boundless capacity to evolve, your brain aggressively shifts from a crouch of defense into a leap of exploration. You will dare to experiment, devour knowledge, mend your flaws, and systematically detonate every limit you once held. Thus, self-assurance is never the final crown awarded at the summit of victory, but rather the primordial seed from which all glory sprouts. That seed has no comprehension of how unfathomably vast the sky truly is, yet it fiercely thrusts its fragile sprout through the suffocating dark earth, violently hungry for the sun. A young eagle does not delay until its terror subsides to dive off the sheer cliff. It is the terrifying freefall itself that teaches it dominion over the winds. We are the same. If we eternally await the phantom of perfection to begin, we shall rot forever upon the starting line. Only by marching forward, armed solely with faith in our own marrow, do we stand a chance of unearthing the ferocious capabilities that have slept within us for lifetimes. History will forever belong to those who pledge their belief to the impossible against the howling derision of the masses. They are not alien to us because they lacked self-doubt. They differ simply because they never allowed that creeping doubt to pen their destiny. With every crucible they survive, their armor of confidence thickens. With every crushing defeat they rise from, their core is forged into something harder than steel. Epoch-defining triumphs are not conjured in a singular flash of blinding genius, but rather forged across thousands of microscopic moments where a soul chooses defiant belief over trembling surrender. If you find yourself staring up at a monolithic dream, do not merely ask if you possess the capacity to achieve it. Ask yourself, rather, if you possess the sheer audacity simply to begin, because true confidence is no gilded trophy handed out to the victor, but the roaring torch that illuminates the perilous path long before victory ever materializes. When you anchor absolute faith in your own worth, when you dare to act, refuse to yield, and mercilessly refine your spirit, those lofty illusions, once deemed unattainable, will slowly bleed into staggering reality. Every eternal monument commences with the placement of a solitary stone, and every transcendent life ignites from one primitive, devastatingly powerful mantra: I can.